Hello Carey kids, it's Jane here with this week's Bible verse. I'll read it to you. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. Now you read it with me. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. King David wrote this psalm before he was king. David's enemies were trying to capture him. At first David was afraid, but he trusted in God, and then he was not afraid. Let's look at the words at the start of the verse. In God I trust. That's an unusual way round to put those words, isn't it? Normally we'd say, I trust in God. Well, they're put that way round to show us that what's important is who we trust in, and that's God. So why is God the best person to trust in? Well, God is loving. So he wants what's best for us. And God is wise. He knows what's best for us. And God is powerful, so he can do what's best for us. So let's change this to show how great God is. We'll say the words again. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. Well, when we think how great God is, we don't need to be afraid. So let's change that for something not so scary. And we'll say the verse again. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. Well, now it's time to take some of the words down. Okay? And we'll say it again. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. Okay, what should we take down next? Let's say it again. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. Okay. Ready? Say it again. In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. Okay, just two left to take down. And we'll say it one more time. Ready? In God I trust, I will not be afraid. Psalm 56 verse 11. So do learn this verse, and then whenever you're afraid of anyone or anything, say it to yourself in your head. Remember that God is powerful and loving and wise, and trust in him, and he will help you not to be afraid. Well, that's all from me, but do watch this week's Bible lesson to see how David trusted God when he met someone else who was really, really scary. Bye for now.